found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Tony B, welcome you to. Well, I got to bring my man TGMD in here and Brian Hartman. If there's a perfect way for this really, really, really unprecedentedly goofy summer to end here, it would be what's going on right now. Just a picture-perfect way to end what has been. It's me and you and a DB named Boo Tuesday. It's Tennessee Football Tuesday Media Day. We're live with you. R.I.P. to the great Ryan Samberg. We all here have a collective piece of the Ryan Samberg. Those of us that love sport, first of all, he's a class person. Secondly, he's a guy that the one year he was here with the Smokies took time for people, including us. My son's got a really cool autographed baseball from him. Took the time for him, took the time for a lot of people when he was here. Thirdly, he came up in my Philadelphia Phillies organization and cursed my childhood because every time I saw him as a kid, I said, we traded a Hall of Fame baseball player for literally like spare parts. It was one of the worst trades of all time. Fourthly, he just represented the game and represented sport and represented humanity and represented himself with such class. And then fifthly, he was a Phillies manager at the end that we ended up like booing and screaming at. So it was all kind of a perfect circle. But R.I.P. to him. and he's gone way too soon. And so, man, that's tough. All right, so here's the latest on Boo Carter. Matt Dixon, did you like that report? People were like emailing me, Tony, where's the Boo Carter stuff in your blog today? And I'm going, okay. Well, you give me something, and I'll put it in there. Because a couple people last night, made things up and put them online, which is fine. I mean, that's, if you're not doing it for a living, you can do that. Just, you make something up, and you've got a video stream, and everybody's got a YouTube account, and go for it. Hey, I'm for you, not against you. But if you're attempting to do this in a serious way, and I admitted last week, I had no idea the depth of the chasm and the stuff that had gone on. How about the silence, Matt Dixon, around this thing? What do you make of that? And I'm talking about from the Adam Sparkses, the 247s, the VolQuests, the people that are dug into this stuff. How about it, Matt? Nothing, nobody is saying anything. And you want to know why? Because nobody knows. And you know how nobody knows? Because I'm talking to the same people those people are talking to. And people internally are like, well, you got to watch press conference here in an hour and 45 minutes, and you'll find out. Because there are people internally that don't know. Hey, Matt, is this a perfect way for this offseason to end? Like on a little bit of a circus here?
It's very fitting, that's for sure. As is a guy named Boo, who is pretty much a ghost. And has been for about a month or so.
Ghosted by Boo. Ghosted by Boo.
We'll see. We'll see what ultimately happens. I just want Tennessee's football team to be in the best position possible to win, whether that's with or without him. I assume that's with him, but I don't know for sure because of some of the locker room stuff. But regardless, hopefully we get it. We should get an answer one way or the other.
So those of you that know and have played the sport, let me ask you this, because I've played sports, and I know that with any team sport, you have people like me who are there, kind of funny guys, and you'd call me sort of a locker room guy. I was there, got along with everybody. And then you had star players, your star player over there, and star players can be a little mercurial and odd, and I think that would be like a Boo Carter. And then you've got this person over here and that person over there. Matt just brought something really interesting up that I'd like to talk about today. Let me ask you, what's better? Is it better to bring him back? Because here's what we know. Now, this is what we know. This guy missed significant, I'm talking weeks, from his football team this summer. Significant time. This guy had an altercation with a couple of teammates and got kind of roughed up. I mean, I'll call it what it is. And I'm not afraid to tell you when I tell you, speak pretty authoritatively and confidently about it. And look, like Mike Keith told me when he was on here, when I congratulated, he goes, you have your role. Everybody has a role. And that's my role. I'm going to share it with you. I'm going to call it right down the middle. I'm going to call it 100. But I'm not going to make anything up. And I'm not going to sit here today and act like I know what's going to happen. Because there are people internally that don't know what's going to happen today. Now, we painted the picture yesterday that head coach, and Brian, I'm going to ask you something. The head coach has been told by, and Matt's got a good point here. The head coach has been told by members of his staff, members of his coaching staff now, don't bring this guy back. He's been told by leaders on his football team, that council, don't bring this guy back. Now, we've told you about this stuff in real time. It has been my opinion that head football coaches in the Southeastern Conference, they don't cut guys loose that can play. They don't. You and me might believe in addition by subtraction, and maybe Matt's right. Maybe telling this guy to hit the pike, which Matt didn't, by the way, take that position, but he threw it out there, that there's a possibility that telling this guy to hit the bricks might just be what you would call classic addition by subtraction. Hey, I'm open to that. Brian Hartman, how about you on this Tuesday?
Without Boo Carter, does the floor get lowered significantly? I'm not sure it does. Because if they're going to have the type of season that we hope they have, they're going to have other guys step up and become playmakers anyway. Guys that may be hiding in plain sight that we don't know about yet, that have potential, that just hasn't been unlocked. They've got all these blue chippers, they say, on the roster that's young.
Yep.
And sometimes you get those guys on the field, you just don't know what you got. So,
hey, Matt, how do you answer that?
My question is, does the floor get lowered all that significantly? I just don't know whether I can say it does. I mean, their schedule still is what their schedule is.
That's exactly right. Schedule's wretched now. I mean, to me, you'd have to lose like 4 or 5 guys to bring some of these games in play that they. I mean, you're playing literally the dregs of society there at the bottom of that schedule. You'd have to lose 4 or 5 guys. Matt, what do you say to that?
I think it could potentially impact a game or two. Just that playmaking ability. Don't think he'd play offense if he comes back, but maybe. And I'm not sure he'd even be your punt returner at this point. But I mean, it's one of your more talented players, so I don't think it helps you if he's not there. But kind of like the Nico thing, you remove him, and in a weird way, that's what elevates everybody else, because the team grows closer together and they kind of bond, and they kind of play with that chip on their shoulder. Maybe this is just another example of that potentially, but
so you could talk yourself.
You don't want to. I mean, you don't want to lose key players, like you've said it, Tone. When you have talented players and you don't really have, kind of replacement type deals for them. I mean, I don't know what the drop off is, but it's at least a little bit from Boo Carter to whoever would take it on those roles.
Isn't it interesting though? I mean, and this is the way the year ends. I'm gonna tell on me, okay? So me, but it isn't just me. Other people in the media. This is how weird this story is now. Look, I've done this a long time. Before Boo Carter, I'd never seen an offseason like this. He puts this thing. I mean, where's Golden Earring when you need him? This thing's way, way off in the twilight zone, Rod Serling. Before Boo Carter, this thing was in the twilight zone. This thing now is so far in the weeds that it's just not funny. Now I want to hear from you. You tell me. What's better? Josh Heupel goes for the media today and says Boo Carter's with us or Boo Carter's not. And then the second part is Josh Heupel going to answer that today? Because he says so little, as we know. And I'm just sitting here, and this is why I'm going to tell on it myself here. I'm just sitting here. You were told by me, by everybody, come one, come all. Come one, come all. That last night they were having a meeting. I laid out of it last night when I saw that, because here's the deal. If something was decided last night, something would have broke, and I don't care who breaks the story. And I'd have had it in the blog and whatever. But I laid out of it last night. This morning, I got to get on the air. I'm not laying out of anything. So I make a few calls. How's the meeting last night? Oh, there was no meeting. Say, huh? Yeah, we just we had people just kind of come in and just say, "Hey, I'm here." So what about this Monday night meeting? Yeah, well, I don't know. It didn't happen. Excuse me? What we know is that Boo Carter on Friday reached out to them and said, Boo Carter reached out and said, I want back over the weekend. But it's not that easy. See, this thing, when you walk away from something for several weeks, and then the one time you kind of show up over there, you know, you get your, pardon my pun, you get your T crossed and your I dotted. You know, that's a little different. That's where we are. That's a where we are. And listen, I don't know what to make of this. In a lot of ways, I don't want to make too much of this, but in a lot of ways, this is crazy. I mean, Matt, can you think of anything in your Tennessee watching life that's similar to this? How bizarre this deal is?
Well, the whole Nico thing is somehow crazier, but that was just because of this era and Tennessee being kind of the test study for that. But
yeah,
I mean, you've had guys like James Banks in the past who are really talented, but hard to get a handle on, and their kind of status is in the air.
Yep.
You know, it didn't work out, unfortunately, but you know, Jansen Jackson was kind of in this boat where he was kind of off the team, but not off the team for like maybe even an entire spring. So, I mean, you have situations like this, but the thing I just can't get and don't understand is like, what's the reasoning for just leaving your team in the middle of the summer? Like
you said it, I didn't.
I mean, we're not owed that answer, but I mean, that locker room sure is. And I just don't understand what could have been going on for that to happen. You
said it. I didn't. If he would have
gone, this is a kid who's stayed out of trouble. No legal issues. Nothing. No, nothing that those other guys faced.
That's exactly right, Brian.
No drug issues.
Like you think about like LaMarcus Coker, you know, back in the day, who liked the hippie lettuce. Really great player, but eventually, you know. One joint.
The Wizinator. Ontario Smith, the
Wizinator. These guys all.
The fake you know what that they used.
It's
Did
Wizinator.
Somebody use?
Yeah, Brian. Leave. Come on, Brian. Let it be. Look that up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. First time you saw the term Wizinator in print, the man I call Bluntario Smith. They said to him, "Do you feel okay?" "Yeah, I'm good." "Why?" "Well, your urine's about 108 degrees. You've got some of these other people like Jansen Jackson, Matt talked about. A lot of these people were like never on the straight and narrow. James Banks was never going to work. really talented guy. This guy here doesn't get in any trouble. And then the other thing is when you're saying, well, in this Nico era, and now this guy did change agents, and his new agent, is a nut job. So even if he's back on the team, there's no guarantee he stays back on the team with his agent he has. But this thing's not about money. That's the other thing. If they were
bad advice, it's bad advice being given out.
If this was about money, if this was about money, they would have. We would have known that. Okay. And so I'm just sitting here today with you going, okay, here's the Boo Carter update. You ready? You call your friends and tell them this. You ready for the Boo Carter update? And Matt said it best. I'm going to do my Boo Carter update and my Boo Carter imitation in the spirit of his name being Boo. Are you ready? Here it goes. Matt said, how appropriate is it that the guy's, named after a ghost, or and he ghosted him. And now our report, as you're looking for, and we're all looking for information overnight, we get ghosted. I mean, we ought to change this kid's name to Casper. Boo Casper. What in the world? What in the world? I mean, just bizarre. Team meeting, no team meeting. Okay. Some coaches want him on, some don't. Some players don't want the guy on the team. I mean, this is really, really, really strange. Okay? Really strange. So, I just kind of sit here today and I wonder with you. You tell me. You tell me. And Matt asked a question earlier. Matt, ask that question again, and we'll kind of build the show around this and talk about some other things, including the fact that Florida now looks like they have an issue. I mean, Matt, when we play Florida, it could be Harrison Bailey against Joey football. Now, if you'd have gone back last season and you'd have said that to somebody, hey, Tennessee starting quarterback's going to be that guy at App State to throw 1 million interceptions. And they're going to get a third-string guy off Louisville's roster. 2025 college football, it is a different deal. It's a cray-cray world out there. Matt, ask your question again that you shared with us off the top, because I think it's worth discussing.
Yeah, well, I think we all want the same end goal. We want Tennessee to be the best team they can be this year. Because of your schedule, you have a chance to overachieve a little bit and maybe sneak back into the playoffs. But the key is whether Boo Carter being on your team helps you do that or not. And I'm not going to say I know the answer to it because it seems like there's some locker room stuff that affects this. But generally, when you have one of your more talented players, you don't want to lose that guy because that doesn't really help you reach that end goal and reach your ceiling. But sometimes when guys leave and talented players leave, it rallies the troops, so to speak, and maybe you can. It makes it easier to overachieve because everybody accepts the roles and steps up. You see it a lot with injuries and things.
Yep.
Maybe this is kind of that. Who knows? But between Nico and Boo, Like you're not a better team without those guys, I don't think. But maybe in a weird way you could be.
The mystery of the whole thing, the mystery of chemistry, the mystery of togetherness, the mystery of motivation, the mystery of the fact that we're body, mind, and spirit. And in a spirit sense, it challenges everybody in that locker room to lift their level of play. And if they have to go on without him, say, hey, we're not going to let these guys beat us. That's pretty good motivation. I've been told that they've had a screws-down offseason, very buttoned-down offseason. And this is, you think about it. How many distractions have you heard? Think about that. How many distractions have you heard? Because I can't think of any. But the distractions are, I mean, they in the college football world they appear on a seismograph. They're so large. So we come back on the other side. I want to hear from you. It's 865-200. 5402 is the number. And I want you to tell me, those of you, I'd love to talk to some people that have played that sport, coached the sport, been in the middle of that sport. Maybe even at the college level. Maybe you're a former Tennessee player. Maybe you played somewhere else. But what is the challenge, right, that Josh Heupel faces here? This obviously is not that easy. And here's how I know that. The kid went to him, I know this, reached out on Friday and said, I want back in. Now, when I told you that yesterday, it's not this easy, I didn't think it was going to be not this easy. But apparently, it's not this easy. Because I reach out to somebody today I'm talking to a few minutes ago, and I said, is it in the balance? And what I'm told is, I don't know. And it's somebody that should know. So here's my thing. Anybody telling you that they 1,000% know, or they reported, okay, that this guy's back, okay. Good. Okay. But the question is, what's the best thing for that team right now? What is the best thing for that team? It's a very interesting thing to stop and think about. And we'll consider it. And Josh Heupel, here's the thing about his media appearances for the most part. They're pretty boring. Today's is very fascinating. Our show's going to culminate today with his appearance. It'll happen in the last segment of the second hour. And we'll no doubt do some TLD Logistics Overdrive Overtime responding to what we hear. But in the meantime, I would love to hear from you as we continue on the other side. This is your Tony Basilio Show. This is a Tuesday. We continue with more after this.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Only 3 homestands remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies play this season. And next week is full of celebrations, starting with free hot dog night on Tuesday. All the hot dogs you can eat all night long. And if you're still hungry, we've got all you can eat Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday with half off draft beers. Then on Friday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. On Saturday, we're continuing the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. And on Sunday is Cocoa Melon Day. Grab your tickets now at smokiesbaseball.com.
Summer is officially here, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe when extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, They're Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Sorry about that. I was on the phone with somebody. As I welcome you back, 865-200-5402. I'm endeavoring to try and reach out to folks, as many folks as I can. And, that's what we do here. One other question for you, and then we'll go to the phones. Hey, Matt, how many touchdowns did Nico throw for last year? What was the number?
I think it was in the low 20s.
19, I think. 19 and 5.
Is that right, Brian? 19 and 5?
I think 19 with 5 picks.
How long does it take Tennessee's starting quarterback, a.k.a. Joey Football, to get 19 touchdowns? I want the living listener to think about that. As we go back to our phones and get our next call in, and the question is, what would you do if you're Heupel here? And more to the point, what's the best thing at this point for this team? This is bizarre that we don't have some sort of resolution to this today. Is very strange. A defined resolution coming into this press conference and that we don't know about it is very strange. But that's where we are. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Richard. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, man, I'm very, very good. I tell you what, wonderful conversation to have, and I guess, Tony, I'll even though I was not like the coach at Blackman, my time there, all the years I was there was volunteering and training and all that. I was around the program about every day. So I can speak from the experience that, what we had there because, at Blackman, we were competing against Oakland and Maryville basically as the top 3 teams in 6A football.
Yep.
Both of them always had an advantage over us. They always seemed to have a little bit more talent than we did, but we had good players, and so we're always competing. So it was very difficult when you get into the off-season training because you're talking. It's a little different for high school kids because sometimes kids have to work jobs and various things. But we did have our summer programs and the expectation to meet X amount of workouts and showing your commitment to the team. But this also went into your preseason practice that would crank up towards the end of July as you get going. It was very difficult because in high school football, you always have those 4 or 5 kids on your team that are clearly difference makers that help you win football games, and you don't have guys just behind them that can do the same things on the football field. So there always was a preference treatment to an extent that you walk that fine line with these kids because you needed them to win football games. But yet, if they got to the point where they did destroy the locker room, you had to let them go. So it was a fine line every year. Believe me, we had plenty of that drama year in and year out. You never just didn't not have that. And so I understand for Josh Heupel, as this program is still, to me, ascending its roster. It's growing to the point where you continue to grow the blue chip ratio. You continue to add, better players. This year's recruiting class has a chance to be his best. They continue to add. But we're still not there as a program to where Georgia, to where Alabama, to where Ohio State or these other programs that eventually they get a kid that just continues to cause trouble. They can let them go because they got another, high blue chip guy ready to come in and prove their worth. And so for Josh, it's, he needs wins. He needs to continue to build that roster. And so I put him in a tough situation in this, but I'm like Matt. Boo can help you win games because he is that kind of talent. He's an all-SEC type of talent as he continues to grow. But you can't let him tear the locker room down. If it gets to the point where the locker room and the captains of your team say no way, then you have to cut bait and just hope the next guy can perform good enough that it doesn't lose you any games, even though he may not win you any games. So tough situation.
Do you find what I'm saying plausible that Heupel's getting from captains on his team? Hey, we don't need this guy, or that council, not captains, the council people. Well, and then when you give those guys a voice, this is what Watson told me last week. He said, I don't do I don't do the council route. He said, because when you do the council route and you tell those kids they have a voice, and then they tell you to do this, and then you go against them, he goes, then you're kind of on the other side of the council. He said, as a head coach, he said, I always wanted to handle it myself. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah. I understand, Watson's view on that, because you never want to put it in the hands of other people when you're the final decision maker. You want counsel to, give you, feedback, but, you want the final decision to be made by you because the buck does stop with you, regardless of everything on that football team. Everything eventually does come to him. You hope that you have a council of kids that he has, the leaders of this team, that also have an understanding as well of, hey, if Boo is willing to meet these parameters to get back in the graces of us, man, hey, we're willing to forgive everything and let's roll and let's make this the best year we can of Tennessee football. He made a mistake. Let's not dwell on it. He's making amends for that, and let's go. You hope that there's no jealousy on the council of kids who just want to send him packing just because he did miss these workouts. So it's a balance, and you hope you've picked the kind of character kids that, again, also can find grace and within themselves if the kid is willing to work to get himself back on the team.
And then the other side of this is I've got a source telling me that a couple of coaches have told Heupel, hey, move on, man. We don't need this guy. Move on. And see, that's easy for them to say because their name isn't on it. As you and I both know this. And one thing Heupel knows is that's good of you guys, and that's great. And they have skin in the game, obviously. I mean, they've got their families here, but their read on it is, hey, we don't need this distraction, and I don't know what their need. That seems to be their read on it, or maybe they're just sick of it. But
well, let me ask
it's
you,
crazy.
Tony.
Yeah.
If he had kids behind him that were equally talented, just more inexperienced, but you had confidence they could learn, do you think they'd give him an opportunity?
No, he'd already be gone. You know that. If this was like if this was, and that's the point you brought up earlier, because everybody's bringing that blue chip ratio up, and Adam Sparks is right to point this out. And there's no shame in this, okay? But that blue chip ratio thing resides in their freshman and sophomore class here. In other words, a lot of unproven guys. So, Boo Carter's one of your knowns. On a football team, and here's the thing about those blue chip guys that you and I both know, some will work out and some will be somewhere else next year. I mean, that's just the transient nature of that deal. So from here to there, if I'm a head coach, I'm still trying to figure out a way to keep the wheels on that kid. But Matt Dixon might be right. if he sends a signal right now and says, you know what, and he stands before a microphone and he says, look, I love that kid. That's a good kid. I love his family. I'm for him. But look, we have rules here. And we have a code. And we have policy. And this guy decided when he did what he did this summer that he didn't want to be a part of what we did. And by the way, we had a quarterback that blew out of here. And you know, the thing I'm learning this summer is that this is a team game and nobody's bigger than our team.
Oh,
nobody,
yeah. In the
it's
end,
very
it has to
hard.
be that way. Oh yeah, it is.
It's very hard.
You know, the shameful thing, Tony, and all of it is that Boo doesn't have true adults surrounding him that would have put him, would have let him know that this is not the place you want to go, because he really is making himself look bad. If his desire, which it is to play in the NFL, he's not making himself look good in front of GMs right now. And those guys, Tony, they look for every red flag on a player before they invest a lot of money in them. And, I don't understand where the adults are in the room on his side that had given him this horrible advice or not helped him find his way back much earlier. It just makes no sense, man. And it's a shame. But in the end, it still comes back on Boo Carter. He's still owed enough to still make the correct decisions.
So what's your answer? At the end of the day, what would you do?
At the end of the day, if he has apologized to his teammates and he's willing to jump through every single hoop to prove himself that he wants to be a part of the team, you let him back and you show grace toward the kid, but he's got to work his way back. He's on the bottom of the depth chart. He's got to do all this hard work to get himself back to have a chance to earn his playing time back. And if he's willing to do all that, then you go. But that's going to be, again, up to him. That's where I would go with it. If I'm Heupel and where I'm at with this team, I'm willing to let the kid have the opportunity to make his way back. But it's all up to him.
Thank you, Richard. Good talking to you.
See you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy is what it is. Hey, Matt, I can't believe we don't have an answer on this right now. I guess that's the most appropriate thing that we don't know. I guess if there's a most appropriate way to end this season, end the off season, I guess this is it. I mean, you don't want to end the off season this way, but I guess this is it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bigger than the Nico deal, but it's equally as puzzling. I guess I'll kind of be disappointed if Heupel doesn't just come out and address it from the start today. It's obviously the only question that really fans want to know, and he never says anything, but he needs to. I'd like to see him take a little bit of some kind of leadership of it and own it and say one way or the other what his status is. I'll be disappointed if that doesn't happen.
I'll tell you what would concern me, Matt, and I was just talking with one of my sources on this deal, and he and I were kind of in agreement on this. If he stands up there, it's an hour from now, and he says we don't know status-wise, that will concern the hell out of me. Because that is your football program. You have known since Friday that kid wants back on your team. You've had 3 days to work out a resolution, and the last thing you need is to drag this thing on through camp. Can I get an amen on that?
And he's had the council whispering in his ear for several weeks. Apparently.
Can I get an amen on that? I mean, we better have some sort of, this is where this thing is heading. It's very, very, very beyond bizarre and strange. You can't make this story up strange. You just cannot.
I wonder.
Yeah.
How long are they going to let him? How long is he going to talk about it? If they're going to let him take questions about it, just how they're going to handle the whole thing.
Well, yeah, he's going to take questions. He's the head football coach.
That's why he needs to just address it from his opening in his opening statement.
That's right.
It specifically mentioned Boo Carter as being either on the team or away from off the team, whatever. He needs to just go up there and address it, because if he doesn't, it's going to be asked. So he needs to already be prepared and just come out and say it.
Hey, Matt, will you and I agree on a position statement here right now with the living listener that if our head coach says today, okay, on Boo Carter, I don't have anything, and we're not going to talk about it. Would you find that acceptable in that spot today?
No, not really. If he does we anticipate everybody being ready for practice tomorrow or whatever. No, he needs to, and he'll be. I mean, Adam Sparks will ask it if Heupel doesn't address it himself.
Sure, he will.
He's going to get asked, so he might as well just come out and say what the deal is.
And there are going to be some sheep mad at Adam when he asks it. Let me tell you something. That's the job, media's job. What do the fans care about? What do the fans care about? This is the front burner story, man. I mean, let's keep it real. I guarantee you that's going to be the first question. If his answer today, and look, none of us know where this thing is, kind of nebulous, which has me a little concerned. But if the answer is, well, nothing to see here, no, there's nothing to see here. Because as much as these coaches want to control the flow of information, this is 2025. So you have to lean into it. Now, if you lean into it and you say, listen, me and my team are having an ongoing discussion about this, and some want him here and some don't, and you want to lay it out, I'll accept that. I would respect that, actually. If you tell me, like Matt's saying, oh yeah, there's nothing to see here, and that didn't happen, come on. That's not acceptable. And then if you tell me, well, we're going to address that at a future date, no. I'm sorry. I knew Friday. They know Friday. They know damn right well that kid said Friday. No, look, he was gone for several weeks. And again, I've laid it out here. You've got people, you got team leaders, guys on that council that don't want him here. They're the first ones that came to him and said, hey, we got to do something about it. This guy's made a mockery of this thing. Like, where is this guy? And the story I believe is that he appeared to kind of get something out of his locker, and a couple guys met him and said, what are you doing, man? What is this? And they kind of, sent him a message. It's extremely odd. It's bizarre. It's not Josh Heupel's fault, but I'll tell you this, it could become his fault in an hour if he stands up there and acts like this is nothing, or it didn't happen, or, well, I mean, we'll deal with that. No, the fans deserve, and everybody involved deserves to hear that this is being dealt with. There's a lot of people that care about this.
It's going to continue to become a distraction if he doesn't.
That's exactly right.
It'll continue. It may, if you don't think it's a distraction now.
No question.
But it'll continue.
And your job as that head coach is to manage that distraction. It's really to get distraction out of the deal. Like the Nico thing, there's no roadmap to that. I'm not going to beat on this head coach over that. Quarterbacks don't leave you after spring practice, okay? It just doesn't happen. It's never happened. It just doesn't happen. A starting quarterback, especially one making, more north of $1 million, whatever it was, to play football for you. So, okay, whatever. This one here, this is, man, you got to manage this. This is your football program. And I'm not saying that we have to know something at this moment. No. But in an hour, we better know something. We deserve to know something in an hour. That's all. And the question becomes, what do you do if you're him? Hey, look, this kid made a mistake. He's young. He's going through some stuff. Like Richard just said, we're going to put him back on the team, and he's a quality young man, and we're going to give him a chance. Because here's what I know about this guy. He's not in trouble. He's not in trouble. He's not a misbehaving kid. He's not. He's a pretty good teammate. Now, he likes to talk trash on the field, but he's a pretty good teammate. This thing's really strange. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Good to talk to you.
Well, Tony, I look at it this way. The fans, we always want to know something. We always want to know about injuries, even though HIPAA laws prohibit that now. We get the coach speak on that all the time. He's progressing. He's doing this, doing that. We're going to give very little today. And what I'm reading from Callahan and some others is that he's on the team right now. And he's on the team until he's not on the team. And that's it. And on July 31st, a couple days from now, he's going to be on the practice field. Whether it works out in the end, that'll be determined. But right now, he's on the team. He's in Knoxville. He's not in Colorado. That's it. It's going to be short and sweet, whatever you get from Josh Heupel. I can guarantee you that. He's going to move on.
Is no news good news?
See, I'm not so sure. I would say he's on the team. I'm not so sure of that. I think that sounds good in theory, and I think if you look at the depth chart and that makes sense and all that. But come on, man, we've got too much information to know what we know.
Rocky Top Insider just dropped a depth chart this morning.
Oh, listen, you can drop depth charts all you want. That's fine. Yeah. They're over there aggregate. Hey, listen, you can drop depth charts all you want, and that's great. Okay, so the sky is blue. Okay, that's fine. I'm just telling you right now, this is the situation here, man. Why do you think there's been so much reporting on it?
Okay.
Well, you tell me.
If he was a lonely second, third teamer on that team, yeah, he probably wouldn't be around. But the thing about it is that I've seen this many, many times, even at the high school level, that special players get special treatment. They always have, Tony.
Oh, I totally agree with that. My inclination on this whole thing the whole time was because it's weird for a guy to leave a team like that for several weeks like this kid did, and it's weird to have an altercation with teammates. It's weird to have some of the noise around this thing and changing agents and whatever, all the other stuff that's going on in the background here. It just adds to the fuel of this offseason. My take has always been that he's going to end up on the team, but that's a far cry from, he's on a roster. Him being on this thing needs resolution, and the head coach needs to say something. He can't just go, well, he's on my roster.
Well, he's not going to say that, but I'm telling you something right now. He is going to give you some serious. It'll be addressed. Of course, they'll ask him questions about it, and he's going to you're going to get, you're going to have media members asking the same question 10 different ways, and he's going to come back to the same thing. And he said, I've already addressed that. All right, we got practice starting in a couple of days. Let's any other questions?
Hey, Dave, you tell me, Dave, if I'm wrong, because you and I are both a little old school. We've talked down through the years, and look, even in the old school, if a guy can play, he's going to get away with stuff. If a guy is your top salesperson and you're listening to me and you run a business, that top salesperson is going to get more days off. It's like an old coach told me. Everybody's going to get treated fairly, but they're not going to get treated the same. The guy that's the top, or the lady that's the top salesperson, is going to get more leeway than this person over here that's a borderline employee. It's just the way it is. I totally get that. However, when you're dealing with something that's public like this that a lot of people care about, you can't just stand there and act like nothing's happened. And Matt's right. He's got to say, hey, look, this guy's got to earn his way back on this thing, which we're open to. This guy has humbled himself and has apologized. This guy is going to start from the bottom and work his way and just show us, hey, that you got your hands on your program here. You can't just pretend like, oh, well, he's on my depth chart. That to me will not be acceptable if that's what occurs.
Well, I've seen, he's not in. Now let's add this. If he had let's say a little incident last year, like something trouble with the law, or something else, and close to that, and then this happened, I think that he'd be on down the road, but that hasn't happened.
No, not in the least. Not in the least. And listen, right. I appreciate the call.
That's on his side.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. That's very much on his side. And I appreciate you, Dave. I've gone out of my way on the front end of this when we talked about it initially to say that kid's not a bad kid. He's just not. And I just sit here and go, we're going to hear about it in 45 minutes. It's going to be really, really interesting. And we're going to continue with more. It's hour number 2. Andrew in Maryville is going to lead off. And we're going to continue to talk about this because we care about it. And we roll it back right after this.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Hey, Tony B listeners, I'm Billy from Grade A Grounds, a UT grad bringing Knoxville a better way to raise money. We roast premium coffee fully branded for your team or cause. You keep 40% of sales and we donate 5% to local needs. Let's win on and off the field. Visit gradeagrounds.com to start your winning fundraiser today.
Living Vol fan, we're on the countdown to kickoff, and that means you need to make sure you are game ready. Head to Alumni Hall to get this season's Tennessee sideline apparel. Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, and more. Shop top brands for the entire family. Hats, Yeti, tailgating gear, and so much more. If it's for the Tennessee fan, Alumni Hall has it. Spend $150 and get $10 in Hall cash rewards. Shop at alumnihall.com. Download their app or shop any of their locations in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, or the Tri-Cities. Alumni Hall, the ultimate shopping destination for Vol fans.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law, 5th quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair.
and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. Sorry for the dead air. I keep trying to get in and out of things quickly, and we'll go to our phones at 865-200-5402. And as promised, now joining us, he's in beautiful Maryville, and his dogs are barking. Doesn't mean his feet smell today, but it means his dogs are barking. And I get our next call in. Hello and welcome in to Andrew in Maryville. Welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Tom? How you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Beautiful day out.
Nice.
So I got two main reasons that I don't think Boo should even be given the chance to earn his way back.
Okay.
You just set the precedent with Nico that no one's bigger than the team.
Yep.
And to let a guy earn his way back when, people say, oh, he's apologetic, he's been humbled, he wants to come back.
Yep.
He wants to come back because he knows he can't go anywhere else and play. And even if he's apologetic, he's chose not to be here these last couple of weeks and ignore workouts and disrespect the team. And I don't think you can earn that back in one camp. And at the end of the day, when you've got players and coaches saying they don't want a guy back and the coach makes the executive decision, he is back, then that guy has to be perfect. Because if Boo slips up at all or causes any problems during camp or during the season, that's going to be right on Heupel.
Hey, Matt, respond to that, because I think that's a very, very interesting point that Andrew brings up there in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot to what Andrew's saying. Respond, Matt.
No, there is. And I, Heupel, I think had some equity built up and built up more with the Nico deal, and you can't afford to give any of that back here. You have to, whether that's a hard line and just he's gone, is whatever. But no, I think there's a lot of truth there. You can't lose your locker room, especially over one guy. After you just a few months earlier kind of won your locker room over and took a stand with your most high-profile player. That you kind of handpicked. So it's really interesting that we're in this spot, but I think there's a lot of truth there that Heupel can't afford to lose his locker room over something like this that is pretty similar to the situation with Nico back in the spring.
Andrew, the thing that's odd about it, because, there's a similarity with Nico in that it's created instability, but this thing's not about money. It's not about opportunity, because they're telling this guy, hey, look, man, we're going to give you a chance to play on offense. In fact, they structured things around him in the spring offensively, and had developed a package for him. And then he goes and kind of goes off the reservation. And he's not holding out. I mean, it's really, and it's not like it's a behavioral thing. Some people, when things like this happen, some people like to make stuff up and there's an incident and this. I don't believe that. I've gone out of my way to try to be fair to the kid and say, I don't believe that. But like Dave just said, well, this isn't an issue, and the coach stands up there and he's on the roster, and that's going to be Andrew, would you find that to be an acceptable way if that's the way Josh Heupel proceeds here, that he's on the team and there's nothing to see here? I mean, I don't think that would be acceptable if that's what our head coach does.
No, it's got to be a direct answer one way or the other. You guys have said it. You've got, kind of questions at the quarterback. You can't have another question around the entirety of fall camp. And, you said, this week that these team leaders have been galvanized by losing. They're not losing Nico, but, him leaving, and it's brought them together. You can't let that go, because I think maybe you lose Boo, you get galvanized even more and you play even harder for each other because your coach isn't letting the guy, pull you apart. And
see, that's the thing Matt said. Matt said,
yeah.
But then everybody's a little right here. Dave's right. The guy that can play and the superstar is going to get preferential treatment. Our Richard in Murfreesboro said, when you have young, unproven playmakers, it's going to be very hard pressed for them to say goodbye to this guy unless they absolutely have to. And at this point, it doesn't feel like they have to. You're right. Because the message to the rest of that locker room is, well, and then going forward, if you're the head coach and you take this kid back, you've got to live with the consequences of that, because you're going to have people on your roster that know that next year they can walk away from a couple of weeks if they're a great player.
And the other thing is,
it's weird.
The other thing is this guy's not going to be back next year regardless of what happens. So you're taking a massive risk on this season for a guy that is going to leave in the portal. So it's just like, what's the cost benefit analysis here? Like, you could let the guy leave right now instead of in December, and you can give a full season of some youngsters in the secondary some playing time. And I just don't think it's worth it, especially when he's not going to be here next year.
And like Brian Hartman said, which is another thing to add here, I mean, is it going to cost you a championship?
No.
What's it going to cost you? Is it even going to cost you a game? I don't know. Is it? I don't know.
I mean, the schedule's so easy. If Boo's the difference in winning or losing at Mississippi State or whatever, then your team probably wasn't going to be all that great to start. I mean, maybe he gets you a big punt return in one game, but it's just I don't know how. And he also brought in the Colton Hood guy from Colorado who should be able to step in if he leaves, and hopefully Jermad's not out too long. It's just the upside is not that high. And especially, you're not going to let him play offense this year, even if he comes back. So it's like, how much is he really going to affect the season? But he can really derail it if he pulls some other stuff.
Well, you're right about that. I mean, Matt, he's got a really good point in that if he comes back, he's got to be on his absolute best behavior. And the minute that kid even so much as says boo, Matt, pardon my pun, they're going to have to cut bait with him. That is a great point. And the head coach really puts himself on the line here if they take him back, Matt. That is a extremely interesting point that Andrew makes, I think, Matt. It's
it'd be Heupel taking a chance on Boo again. So, I don't know much about Boo or whether they think he could be on the straight and narrow for 6 months or not. I don't. That'll be a calculated risk that Heupel's had to weigh in whatever final decision he makes.
And Andrew, listen, I would not be so sure to say the guy's going to be in the portal in 6 months, because maybe he comes back. Okay, this I'm just going to lay all possible scenarios out here. Maybe he comes back and blows up this year. Maybe he comes back and has an All-America type season. Here is one thing I was told by somebody, though. When you've missed as much time away that he's missed, and guys are going through their stuff and they're playing catch with each other and getting familiar with each other, and you get this new quarterback in here while this guy's left, because the old quarterback is the guy that he got used to, and he hadn't been around for weeks with the new quarterback here. How you going to play him on offense?
No.
Right?
And if he's not playing on offense, or like, is he going to behave? If that's going to piss him off. If he's just,
it's crazy.
Made promises to him, and like, I doubt that if he's just only playing defense and not getting any benefits because he's on kind of probation here, he's not going to just be on the straight path.
This thing's wild.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the call. Thank you. Good talking to you.
Yeah.
So we've had like a disparate view of the, from the callers. And I don't know how to feel. All right, let me throw one more topic at you. Matt, some of the things I want to hear these guys say today. First of all, I don't want to hear when these kids get into their media setting this afternoon, I don't want to read anybody blowing up Nico, who just left. I don't want to hear any of that. In fact, I want to hear multiple players today put over Joey Football. Miles Kitzelman did it because he understands. Miles Kitzelman's a veteran guy. He's a team leader in short order. The head coach thinks so much of him that he brought him to Birmingham with him. And he pretty much played well right away last year. I think it would be great if multiple guys put Joey Football over and I think it'd be a great sign if that happened. Matt, that's one of the things I want to see today. Yes or no?
Yes, I would like the narrative to be a lot more about Joey Aguilar. Absolutely.
And
how he's won his teammates.
Yes, and own it, by the way. In other words, let's not pretend like we have a quarterback battle, okay? One guy's making $1 million and one guy's making $200,000. Who do you think's going to start? Now, if the guy goes out in the next couple of weeks and he is a complete it's a complete waste and it's not working, they're going to be forced to do something else. What was that one camp where they had the starter and they ended up with Schaefer and Ainge? That was like 20 years ago. 2004, I want to say. Who was
CJ Leak?
Who was
CJ Leak?
Yeah, it's Chris Leak's brother. That's right, CJ Leak, who I want to say played in the ACC somewhere. Where did that kid come from? Do you guys remember?
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest.
Back when they were awful.
Matt, I was in that camp and watching practice, one of those scrimmages, and I'll never forget this. And I was sitting next to Doug Matthews, and he looked at me, and he said, one of those freshmen's going to start. And I looked at him, and I said, hey, Doug, I said, freshmen don't start in this league. And he looked at me, and he said, Phillip has no choice. He said, you saw what I saw. I said, oh, yeah. He was right. So here's where I'm at on Joey Football, Matt. Unless that head coach and that staff has no choice, he's your starting quarterback. Position statement, yes or no? What do you guys say? They can act like this thing is a what do you want to call it? Is a quarterback race all they want? I don't believe that for 1 second. Unless this guy's a total bomb in camp. Where are you all on that? Or do you guys think this thing's a quarterback deal?
Yeah, he goes where he can start a quarterback right away and be the starter.
That's right.
At this point in his career, that's what he's going to do.
And in this era, by the way, he goes where they tell him you're going to start. What do you think, Matt? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think he'll be your starter. I don't think they're going to come out and say that.
No, they're not going to come out and say it. But I want to hear the kids put him over today because I think that'd be a great sign.
I think they will. Yeah, they will.
I want to hear a couple of these young skill guys say, hey, I'm ready. I know there's opportunity here, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to shine. What do you guys think? I want to hear some cocky guys. I want somebody cocky to emerge here.
This is when you want to hear good things. You want to hear everything that builds everyone up. And you can have some folks saying, oh, we're winning the SEC. Some fans out there that might take it too far. But you want that.
I want to hear one of our returning offensive linemen, our transfer from LSU, who's had a nice camp, nice summer. I want him to say, hey, we're going to be very good on our offensive line. I want to hear that. So, hey, Matt, what's your excitement level for the season on a 1 to 10 scale right now? Something we asked yesterday.
Probably about an 8, 7 or 8.
Right. Where are you generally?
Usually probably a 9 or 10.
Okay. What's the rub?
I mean, like 3 weeks ago, I was like a 2 or 3, but it's starting to ramp up. The whole Nico deal is just so off-putting, not just for like Tennessee centric, but just for college football, where the sport's at in the off season. It's just so. I mean, I just think it's stupid where they're at with all this player movement and everybody's a free agent after spring practice. Like all this stuff is just silly. And it's hard to have a real program with core guys that are there for 3 and 4 years. So I just, I mean, once it kicks off and here in a week or two, I mean, I'll be all in as always, but just everything about it is the off season and all the talking and expanding playoffs and conferences and all this stuff's just really, really off-putting.
I love Matt because he's consistent. I respect that. I think the weirdness and the craziness of the offseason, and it's got me more excited than I would ordinarily be. However, I was thinking yesterday about, and we were talking about this on the air, what would the impact of if Nico would have been all that he can be, the old Army slogan. Hey, Matt, if he was what he looked like in the first couple of games, can you imagine the level of excitement right now in the air for this season here? Because this would have been a payoff year.
Well, I mean, you would be coming off a year where you most likely played for an SEC title and potentially won a playoff game or two. I mean, it would have elevated everything about last year because you had the running game and defense. If he was not even just this elite guy, but if he was just really good, I think to go 11-1 and you're playing Texas for an SEC title, and then who knows how the playoffs go. I think you have the trajectory of the program is very different. And like you said, this year you would be a top 5, maybe even a top 3 team going into the year if you have that quarterback, squared away. I mean, you'd be right up there with Texas again.
I mean, the hype around this thing now.
It would change everything, if we're being honest.
No, I don't run from that. Because, and look, the other thing I don't do is I don't blame the coach. I don't blame Spire because there's nobody in that class that can play. If you look at that quarterback class, which is something, it's another blog I've been meaning to do, that's a class that can't play. I mean, that entire top 10 is like a complete washout. It's really strange. So it's easy to go armchair quarterback. Well, they got the wrong quarterback. There was no in that class. Oh, we going to take the Sellers kid at 20? Now, Rusty had a good point yesterday, and I think this, okay? I think this. In the salary cap era, or even if you don't have a salary cap, but you've got budgets on your roster, I don't know how wise it is to go and get a high-level, 5-star, very expensive quarterback when the guys at Central Florida, the guy he inherited at Missouri, and granted, the guy at Missouri was a high-level quarterback and was probably a high-level recruit, but it wasn't like he was one of these guys, that was just off the charts. Go back and research that. Matt, where do you think that kid was? The kid at Missouri coming out of high school?
A 4-star, probably top 10 to 15 quarterback in his class.
That's
really good for Missouri.
And that's what I would shoot for here. I don't know if spending the money on the top guy is worth it in Heupel's system versus let me go get a great running back, let me go get some great offensive linemen, let me spread my money around. Because his system, quarterbacks shine in it. I mean, if Nico could have played it all last year, they were going to have a good season. Now, Nico and his family's narrative, and he said it last week, and their narrative is Tennessee didn't have enough playmakers around me. Here's the truth about Nico. He was in the wrong system last year. He's not the right player for this system. It's okay. But he's the problem last year, not that offense. And that will lead me to, on the other side, I got to ask Matt and Bri this, and it'll take us up to Josh Heupel's press conference. Is Joey Football going to throw for? At what point in the season does he best Nico's? What'd you say, Bri? 19 touchdowns last year for Nico.
Yeah, 19 touchdowns.
I mean. And he had how many after 3 games, Bri?
Most of them were against the 3 teams on the schedule, the 3 non-conference teams that were just totally awful defensively. That he got those 19 TDs against. Most of them were against those type of teams.
Mahronime. As we continue with more on the other side, it is your Tuesday edition. Josh Heupel's going to speak here momentarily. After this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been the trusted and preferred name for over 70,000 Knoxville locals. Looking for expert plumbing services and HVAC services, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. Voted best plumber in Knoxville and one of Knoxville's best HVAC companies 7 years in a row. Pipe Wrench is a fully licensed mechanical contractor and committed to excellence and craftsmanship, so you can trust our certified experts to go above and beyond to meet your plumbing and HVAC needs, no matter what problem arises. We also make it easy with transparent pricing, free on-site estimates for replacements, and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing when credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash.
Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for
Hey,
Advent.
whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. TB back with you. Breaking news today on the show. And again, this is pretty interesting stuff now. Because while we were away, and the further I'm away, ladies and gentlemen, because Josh Heupel's getting ready to meet with the depressed. But Chris Lowe of ESPN, the OG, as we say in the trade, CeeLo, you are the OG, is reporting a lot of speculation about the future of Tennessee defensive back Boo Carter the last few weeks after he missed multiple workouts. Sources tell ESPN that Carter is not being dismissed from the team. Coach Heupel will address the situation at his press conference later Tuesday, which CeeLo put that out at 12:30 Eastern Time. So this is interesting stuff now. And somebody tipped him that Heupel's got to address it, right, Matt? We all agree, and I always said this guy's going to come back, but you can't do the nothing to see here thing. That's not going to work. But Matt, before we get to all that, and that's the breaking news, do you believe how many games in, if Joey football's working, how many games is it going to take him when you look at Tennessee's schedule to get the 19 touchdowns passing on the year? What's the number? Because he's going to get it pretty easily, right?
You would hope so, yeah.
Hendon Hooker's go-off year. How many did he have? Do you remember?
I think he had more in 21 than he did in 22, ironically.
Because
they had a lot of rushing touchdowns in 22. Right. I think I want to say he had like 30 in 21, but I mean, he only started, he didn't start like one or two games.
Crazy.
Maybe, probably that New Mexico State game would be a good one, but I'd want to say before then, but maybe Oklahoma.
The question is, does he do it by, and that you're thinking what I'm thinking, which is, does he do it by the first week in November? Does he do it with meat on the bone? It's a good sign if he does. Because Tennessee's got to get vertical. Speaking of which, and then we'll bring Josh Heupel's comments in here momentarily. My friends at VIP Play, the welcome bonus is yours. Make your first bet $5 or more. You're going to get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The promo code is TNTony as you go. And remember, they've got lines for all 12 Tennessee Vol football games for the upcoming season, which, according to the great Chris Lowe, is going to include Boo Carter. But then the question becomes, how much offense is Boo Carter going to play? First sports book in the state accepting wagers on all look-ahead lines for Vol football. That's because everybody gets treated like a VIP at VIP Play. And wait till you hear some of the new things that are coming your way with football season right around the corner. It's exciting stuff. The app is live always. 200 leagues around the world. Numerous bet types, props, options, you name it. If you have a bet in mind, I might go under on my Phillies in Chicago tonight, who are really embarrassing. But the bottom line is the VIP Play team will create any bet for you if you can't find it at your sports book. If it's compliant, a compliant bet type in the state of Tennessee, they'll do it for you. That's why everybody gets treated like a VIP at VIP Play. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, and located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. And if you bet that Boo Carter was back, you bet right. It was always my assertion, two things. This was not a nothing story, obviously. And it was always my assertion it was going to be very hard for them and hard for a head coach, even though he's got resistance from his. So now he's on the line here because he got resistance. And this is what we do here. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Resistance from his staff, resistance from guys on the team, but they're going to give this kid a chance now. Will Josh Heupel lay it out in a couple of minutes when he talks to the depressed? Brian, you made the point, and share with the listener, that Nico really piled on those touchdowns last year in the Crip games. Share with us, because this is really wild.
8 of his 19 total TDs came against Chattanooga, UTEP, and Kent State. And 10 of his total 19 TDs came against, if you throw in the NC State game. So against SEC competition, he had 9 touchdowns.
Yikes.
About 1 a game.
Yikes. 9 touchdowns in 8 football games, Matt. And it isn't like we were exactly finding the end zone in other ways and really ringing up the points. That's not good, Matt.
That was Dylan Sampson. A lot of it was Dylan Sampson actually took some pressure off there, but still.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that, and Aguilar or whoever is going to almost certainly have better numbers than Nico did last year. It'd be almost impossible not to. But the key to me and the question to me is how do teams defend Tennessee? Because even despite the passing game woes last year, teams still played the deep safeties, which allowed Sampson to have that huge year on the ground and Tennessee to lead the league in rushing. And teams still like respected the pass, even though it just was never there. So I'll be curious this year to see if teams walk those safeties up more or if they continue to play those guys deep. Because I always found that fascinating last year. Teams were willing to let Tennessee run as much as they did, even when the offense in the passing game was not going to beat you.
I want to, the thing is, and by the way, Josh Heupel coming up momentarily here. I want to encourage a living listener to pop over to tclub.team. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the entry today from our guy Music City Sam, but man, that's wonderful stuff from him today over on the blog at tclub.team. Tennessee's running game under Heupel, 4 consecutive years, Matt, 4 different guys leading the team in rushing, and it's going to happen again this year. It's going to be 5 for 5, Matt. That's pretty wild when you stop and think about it. And it really underscores, and the guys that have done it are backs of all different shapes and sizes. I think that's a very interesting number.
No, it's really impressive. It's it's finally come around now. But we talked about it when Heupel was hired. How this is a run first offense, and it's a real it's a power run game. It's between the tackles. It doesn't do a lot of the gimmicky stuff or stuff outside. I mean, it's a powered run game, like straight ahead run game, and it's worked with whoever's been in the backfield and whoever's been up there blocking. And that's where last year's team was. That's where their creativity was in the running game with all the pulling linemen and things to create the numbers. So no, it's really impressive. And you talk about plugging in a quarterback in Heupel's system. Really, it's the running backs that are the plug and play guys in this deal because it's been regardless of who's been back there, they've produced.
And I want to see in the worst way a real, true, feature, crazy, talented back there, just to see what it would look like. Because he didn't have one at Central Florida. He didn't have one at Missouri. He didn't have one here. The Sampson kid had a nice year last year, but I'm talking about a frontline, crazy, talented guy. I think that would be wild to see that in this offense. Just because here is some of the things, the 6 takeaways that our guy came away with today. And Music City Sam, go check it out. It's really great. And by the way, you're not going to miss a second of Heupel. When he breaks out, we're breaking in. Laura has the authority to cut any of us off and go right to Heupel as soon as he appears. The 6 takeaways are as follows. A different running back has had the most yards per carry in a given year, all 4 years under Heupel. 2022, the best passing year under Heupel. Coincidentally, also totaled the most rushing touchdowns in the season, which is what Matt was just talking about. Because, Matt, you would think with that high-flying offense that year, you would think, oh, man, they must have thrown for 50 touchdowns. Truth is, they probably could have. But this offense is predicated on when you get around the goal line or even when you get right outside the red zone, a lot of times they'll just run a draw and score because they've already spread you out. That's kind of the point behind the offense. It's kind of the secret sauce of this thing.
Yeah, that's why you have the wide splits, and it's just a numbers game, and whatever numbers are in the box dictates whether they run or pass. And for whatever reason, last year teams were just allowing Tennessee to run for 4 to 8 yards of play.
Yep.
And obviously, it was probably the way to go because the offense didn't score a bunch, and had some fumbles and just couldn't execute in the red zone. But it's a run first offense that has the explosive passing game, and that's what makes it so dangerous. And when it's clicking, like it did those first 2 years, it's almost impossible to stop when they can play at that up-tempo pace.
I think that the coordinators last year, and it's what Matt's got a real interesting point, determined this guy can't make passes over us. So we're just going to let him run. We're going to force this guy to execute and drive the football, and he can't process it. Eventually he's going to commit a mistake. They're going to get behind the sticks, and we're going to beat him. The thing that was so deadly about the Hendon Hooker go-off year was he could just throw it over you and continually throw over you. Joe Milton every once in a while could throw over you, but he missed a lot of balls, if we're going to be honest about it. And the guy last year just couldn't make that play. But not only couldn't he make that play, which was their gamble, we'll just send guys up top. He's not going to be able to throw it over us. We're just going to keep these guys in front of us, and we're going to make them score in 15 plays, but they're going to commit penalties. He's going to not get the little things as we go. And, the nation of 3,000 is going to sit over there, which, by the way, special shout-out to my man, Music City Sam, for getting Nico Nerfball mixed into his deal. Next week, he's been tasked with getting Nation of 3,000 in his report somewhere along the lines. Dylan Sampson, Matt, how about this one? You talk about a guy that had the workload, had 101 more rushing attempts last season than any other rusher in the last 4 years, Matt. Now that's crazy. That's basically like saying, okay, we're going to literally taking the ball out of the hands of our quarterback here.
Yeah, that's what they did. And the back, Deshaun Bishop couldn't stay healthy. And I mean, there was a decent drop off there. But Sampson was a true workhorse and just carried that offense all year. No, it was one of the more impressive seasons in school history.
And here's Josh Heupel. Here's Josh Heupel.
Preparing ourselves for football, and can't wait to get out on the field with these guys tomorrow. Excited, proud of the work that they put in. You start this journey as they come back in January through your winter, spring, summer. Proud of what we've done or what our players have done, leadership that we have inside of our locker room. And now it's about taking the next step and taking steps every single day, competing to be our best individually and collectively as a group. Got great leadership on this team. I know at some point I'm going to get a question about Boo, so I'm going to address that right now. Boo is a part of our team here. There's some things that he's got to accomplish to get back on the field with us. Don't have a set timeline on that. Our leadership council has been a part of those things, those discussions with me and with Boo. I'm proud of what they've done. They care and love Boo, and want him to be his best too. And through this, I think Boo sees that as well. And at the end of the day, us collectively continuing to grow here through the course of training camp. I will be the one that will take questions on Boo. And that's today and here throughout the beginning part of training camp as well. But proud of how our team has handled those things, and ultimately we'll handle those things internally. I'm not going to get into details on everything. So excited to roll. You guys are going to get a chance to hear from some of our staff and players today. But everybody in the building's ready to go for tomorrow. So with that, let's open it up.
Mics on each side. We'll start with Brent up front.
Yeah, Josh, how much dialogue over this month have you had with Boo, and kind of what's your policy with players not being around for, quote, summer volunteer workouts? Do you have a set policy on if they go work out with their trainer or somebody else? How does that work? Yeah, and end of the day, it's a requirement to be here, be a part of what we're doing. There's a lot of information out in the world. Some of it's correct, some of it's not. I'm not going to address everything. Over the last week,
we're disappointed with how some things were handled. At the end of the day, you have a conversation. What does it look like moving forward? And that's all parties. That's our leadership council, Boo, and our staff. And so it's not about what yesterday was. It's about today, and we'll see as we continue to progress where that leads us.
So have you talked to him before today?
Yes, I had.
So you've been in contact with him the last week or so?
Parts of it, yes. I'm not saying every day, but yes.
John, then Ben.
Yeah, Josh, do you always consult with your leadership council when you're making a decision involving discipline a player?
I think always is probably a stronger word than I would say always. My wife would tell you would get me into trouble. But I think each situation is unique, and I think, in leadership, it's important that you step back and, try to look at it from different angles as well. Ultimately, in this case, we had, conversations with multiple parties.
So you could say sometimes or often?
Yeah.
Josh, what gives you confidence that your leadership council will welcome back Boo with open arms, and that his return won't impact the locker room or the leadership or your culture?
Yeah. Well, you guys on leadership council, I know it's true in the locker room too. They care about the person, care and love for him, and want him to be his best. I think that starts in life, through the conversations we've had with him, and then that parlays itself onto the football side of it as well. So I'm not worried about the chemistry. At the end of the day, there's standards that we all have to meet, and that's everybody in the building. When somebody fails in that, whether they get another chance or not, that's, each situation is different. But ultimately, Boo's got to meet those standards here as we move forward.
What's one thing you want to see out of your team in this fall camp heading into week 1 in Atlanta, and then an SEC looming game up ahead first?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many days it is until kickoff, but it's going to approach fast. Being where your feet are at, I think is really important here through through training camp. And through that, if you are where your feet are at, you're going to drain everything out of it. That's on the practice field. It's in the meeting room. It's recovery. All the things that ultimately go into them being their best. And collectively, if you do that, you're going to take big steps forward. And every team in the country at this point's got to take big steps. And I'm excited to start that on-field part of that tomorrow with our guys.
Coach, first of all, it's nice to meet you. Carlos Lopez with Vamos Vols. This will be the second year that we have Spanish coverage of our beloved Vols. Yeah. We already have such a passionate fan base, but what does it mean to now have Spanish-speaking families all over Latin America and first-generation people here in the United States connecting with our team in their native language?
Yeah, you've done a great job of that for a long time, but I think it's an opportunity for us to continue to build our brand and to continue to expand our reach as an entire athletic program, and then certainly on the football side of it this fall too. So excited that we have an opportunity to do that.
Josh, with the quarterback competition, is there a preferred way you would like this to go? And not picking up a guy, but like the timeline of when you know and when you feel confident, at least privately, about who the guy is. Would you like that to be sooner than later?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. That gives you more time to build, continuity, whatever it might be. But at the end of the day, I think it's really important. You guys heard me say it at media days that somebody's got to go earn it, and it's not in one throw. It's not on one day. The consistency of who you are, the growth of who you are, and how you continue to grow from practice to practice. I think it's important. The staff sees that, but most importantly, I think your players see that as well.
Coach, one final clarification for me on the Boo situation. When you say has things to do to get back, does that mean he will be in meetings, not be allowed to be in meetings? He'll be at practice, he won't be at practice?
I'm not going to get into all the details of everything. He's here, he's with us, and each day we'll figure out what comes next.
Rob in Austin. Coach, on the quarterbacks,
having played the position yourself, how much does that inform how you handle a competition where it's kind of wide open? I mean, being transparent with your guys, how much do you value that?
Well, I think the communication side of it, it impacts it a great deal, whether that's, me as a player going through different quarterback battles and, at different stages of my career having quarterback battles, but the playing experience, the transparency of it, communicating together with all of those guys, when they got back in the summer, they understood this isn't something that's going to be decided in June. It's not going to be decided in July. You got to go earn it and take it during the course of training camp. Everything that you do is a part of who you are as a player, but also how you're impacting and ultimately making the 10 guys around you better too. And, as we go through training camp, those conversations will be had with, collectively the group as well, so that they can see that it's transparent.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB.
Josh, when was the last time you had a quarterback competition and a center competition going on at the same time? Because those two people start with the ball in their hands to start every play. So when was the last time you kind of had that? And when you've had a quarterback competition, as an old quarterback yourself, not to say these guys are adversarial, but do you kind of like them to not be super chummy and have a competitiveness there between the two?
I think it's important that they're competitive with themselves first and foremost. Are you competing with the guys in the room? Absolutely. How that drives you on a day-to-day basis, I think is the most important thing. That's true June and July. It'll be true during course of training camp. I think it's really important that collectively you do it in the right manner, where you're helping, encouraging, and supporting each other too in a positive way. I think that's important for your team to see, but ultimately the strength of one position can never be one guy. We've sat in rooms with 3 guys that ultimately went on to the NFL all at one time, that were at one point competing for a job. So I think it's important that they handle it the right way. These 2 guys with George, Joey, and Merck, all 3 of those guys have done an elite job of competing and pushing each other throughout the course of the summer. They've grown. They're at different stages in their career as far as eligibility, years on task inside of our program, what we're doing offensively. They've helped each other through the journey of the summer, and I think that's going to be important as we get into training camp too.
We'll go to the back of Casey, then Kate.
Anything that you've really seen click about George and Jake with there being a quarterback competition this year that maybe wasn't present in how they approached practice, approached the day last year, with kind of knowing that they would have that backup role?
Say that one more time, just the names on the front end, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. George and Jake, anything that you've seen from them with them knowing this year is a quarterback competition, whereas last year they were more, solidified in the backup role. Anything you've seen stand out because of having that opportunity?
Well, George just getting here, in December for playoff prep, leading into spring ball. I thought those guys collectively as a group, as a pair, supported each other through the learning curve, and that can be mistakes that you made when you first got to campus. It can be on the detail of a play. You can see those guys helping each other inside of the meeting room, asking a lot of questions. So I think that's been really positive, and just want to continue to see that as we go through training camp.
As Jermod McCoy makes his way back, have you noticed that he's doing anything special or different to make up for the fact that he is limited coming back from that injury, and is there a timetable?
No timetable on him. There's benchmark things that he's got to accomplish within our training room to move on to the next phase of it. He's handled it really well, from the very beginning, just his mindset and how he's approached every single day. He's done a really good job throughout the course of the summer. Periodically you can see his drills, movement, explosive type drills that he's doing change, based on his rehab protocol, and he's handled it extremely well. And as we go through training camp, there will be a progression. How his body responds to some of those things will kind of dictate the time period of when he's available for us.
Josh, at the center position, how valuable do you view experience in the list of traits that you're looking for to fill that spot?
The priority checklist? I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to restate what you just said on the back end.
Yeah, for the center position, how valuable among the traits for a center do you view experience?
Yeah, I don't think you can solely look at the experience of the player. Otherwise, your young guys are never going to get an opportunity to get any experience. The ability to communicate at a really high level, get all 5 guys on the same page, pass protection, run game, the ability to snap it accurately and efficiently, the ability to play with fundamentals and technique. End of the day, offensive line, your center, but you got to get the best 5 guys on the field that are going to go operate as one, and that's what we got an opportunity to do. We got competition, and I'm looking forward to see that unfold as we get started.
Saying on the offensive line, looking at Lance Hurd, where is he physically, mentally, everything now compared to this time last year, and how important is he for you? You're alone returning on the offensive line.
Yeah, a lot different physically, just in what his body looks like. Move times early in the season, training camp and early part of the season. I think that limited his ability to grow as a really young player who had only had 1 fall before he had gotten here. He wasn't a mid-year enrollee either. I think all of that has led to him really growing throughout the course of spring. He's done a great job during the course of the summer, and now we got to go take it to the field here in fall.
Coach, in light of Jermod's situation on the other side, you got Ricky. What kind of offseason have you seen him have, and what kind of jumps can players take going from their first season as a starter to second season when they try to improve?
Ricky did a lot of really good things last year at a really high level. Physically, has done a good job of continuing to add weight to his frame. The detail of his fundamentals, technique, and then understanding of our scheme has continued to jump. I expect him to play at a really high level, and obviously we got some competition on the back end as well, and excited to see that unfold.
Josh, is there still a chance that Boo would be used on offense, or his off-season situation? Does that affect that possibility?
Yeah, we're going to take it slow here in the beginning, and we'll figure out where we're at as we get deeper into camp.
Hey, Josh, Andrew Smith, Johnson City Press. Back on the offensive line, just how have you seen that position group kind of mesh and grow throughout the summer, not even just with the center position, but with all 5 guys?
Yeah, influx of some high school guys into the offensive line room, a couple of transfers in there, seeing those guys connect and challenge each other inside of the meeting room. And that certainly takes place as you get out on the practice field or in the weight room too. So I think the group has continued to grow close. The connection, the continuity that they have in that room, and that allows you to challenge and demand things of the guys around you too in a positive way. So I think all of those, you've seen a lot of growth from even where we were when we started spring ball, finished spring ball. Better leadership inside of that room. So I'm excited to see those guys get on the field and compete here.
Hey, Josh, in this day and age of the transfer portal, NIL and whatnot, in this era, how important is it for you to give guidance to the leadership council, the guys that are seniors and juniors have been around the program, for them to be able to teach these young guys or even the transfers that come in how you guys set the standard, but also trying to engage, bond, build up that camaraderie between teammates?
Yeah, what it takes to be successful on a Saturday afternoon or evening hasn't changed, right? You get between the white lines, the game has not changed. Outside of it, there's been dramatic changes over the last 4 or 5 years. The standards of who we got to be and how we compete and grow together as a team, that can't change. And that's earlier on I mentioned just I love the leadership and the accountability piece of what we have inside of our building. The challenge is to continue to grow that through the course of the season. You get into the day-to-day inside of football. Sometimes that can take a step back if you're not intentional on it. I think it's really important as young guys coming into your program. The older guys are essentially being a big brother to those guys and helping them grow and understand what it takes to be successful at this level, what it takes to be a Tennessee Volunteer. I think we built a group of guys inside of that team room that care about each other.
Josh, with Jermod McCoy's situation, now Boo Carter's situation, can you talk about the value of a guy like Colton Hood? I know he wasn't here in the spring, but what have you seen out of him through summertime when you're able to see these kids now that maybe you weren't 5-6 years ago with the change of rules that makes you think he's going to be a factor for you one spot or another?
Yeah, he's smart. He's accountable. He's really mature. He's got some leadership traits that I think as he's here will continue to show up more and more. Each day, but each block of our season and ultimately our off season too. He's got position flexibility. He's got great understanding of the game. He retains information really well, and he's played and he's got experience. So he came in here learning what it takes to be a Vol. What does a great teammate look like here? And I'm excited to see him continue to grow on the field and off the field inside of this program.
I'm sure each year has their own identity about 30 days out from the start of the season. What do you think the identity of this team will be by the end, or what do you hope it'll be?
Yeah, leadership, accountability, and then we get to playing, the effort and attitude that we approach every day with, the consistency of ultimately what our fans are going to see on Saturdays. But to do that, you got to be consistent every single day. So that's what I expect from our guys and what I think I'm going to get.
Coach, at receiver, you got some young guys that seem to be super talented, Mike Staley and Amari Jefferson. Just what's your confidence level in those guys stepping up?
Wide receiver position or in general? Yeah, young guys don't have time to be young. It's been one of the things that we've talked about as a program since we got back in January. Our coaches are responsible for that, our players are too, guys that are vets inside of those position room. I really like the guys that we have inside of the wide receiver room. That's athletic traits, playmaking ability, their attention to detail. Excited to see that room continue to grow throughout the course of a training camp and really through the season as young guys continue to get better.
Thank you, Coach. Coach will be available again after tomorrow's first practice.
Appreciate it.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So there's your Josh Heupel. Hey, I give him a lot of credit because on the front end, as I was saying, it was not going to be acceptable, as we said an hour or so ago, as now we're in TLD, logistics overdrive overtime. You just don't throw away players that can play. They're going to get more chances. And the injuries in Maryville, he speaks for a lot of fans who would say, hey, because then a lot of fans will say, well, you keep talking about your culture, but this guy just kind of said your culture doesn't matter, but he's on your team. And I get all that. I get all that. I get you. Here's what Josh Heupel said. Hey, Dixon, give me your thoughts on this. First of all, he stood up there and he said, I'm going to address this because it's what you want to know. And listen, I love this. He handled that for that guy who gives the media nothing. Generally, he basically said, this is the story. We're going to address it. He also said, I'm the only one that's going to talk about this. In other words, don't go pestering our players about it. Now, the media is going to ask Miles Kitzel. I can promise you the media is going to ask Miles Kitzel. But whether or not UT's people let him let that happen is another story. Do they shut that down? Because they're going to ask those guys because they know who they know who the council people are. The media does. So it's going to be a real interesting day from that respect. By the way, I'm laying on the floor here with a stretchy band in me, which is why I might sound funny, but I'm tied to a piece of our furniture, and I've got one of these stretch bands trying to stretch my leg out, which they tell me is going to help me be able to walk in a couple of days. Back pain. Catch it in a theater near you. This is what Josh Heupel said a moment ago. Bill is a part of our team here. There's some things that he's got to accomplish to get back on the field with us. Heupel said he went on to say, don't have a set timeline on that. Our leadership council's been part of those things, as I told you. Those discussions with me and with Boo. Proud of what they've done. They care and love Boo and want him to be his best too. Through this time, I think Boo sees that as well. Now, a couple other things. We'll continue here. Heupel also went on and said, when Brent Hubbs, hey Matt, what'd you think of when Brent Hubbs tried to pin him down and say, now, is he on your team or is he not on your team? And Heupel wouldn't answer that. He said he's with us.
Yeah, see, good on Brent for asking that, and John Adams asking if it affects whether he's going to play offense, because those are the questions the fans want.
Amen.
So
the media did their job today.
Heupel gave more than information than I thought he would. I was glad he addressed it up front and honest. You almost had to.
Yep.
It would have been an issue had he not done that. But no, he's obviously got a lot of probably running and some other disciplinary stuff to do before he's back. And he probably when training camp starts, he's probably at the bottom of a depth chart in terms of when they go through drills and things like that, how much that matters. Ultimately, I think down the road, he could probably skip a few steps and get back to being a starter. But it's a situation that that can't work unless the head coach has, the locker room respects the head coach and trusts that he's doing what's best for the team.
I agree with that. I think, and we're going to talk with Watson Brown tomorrow regarding that on our Wednesdays with Watson. Look, the head coach, the Bucks got to stop with him. Inevitably. And so we can sit here all day with each other and we can go round and round and, hey, this people over here don't want him. It's at the end of the day, it's going to be my decision. Now I want you guys to take ownership, and I love that you spoke up, because I'm telling you, there are guys on that team that don't want this guy on their team. Which Josh Heupel basically admitted today. He said, but they care about him. They want to see, everybody's kind of rooting for this kid now. Question is, can they keep the wheels on him? Because I'm still not sure why he disappeared. And I think that's a great question by Brent Hubbs, which is, so wait a second here. He's on your roster, right? But is he on your team? Are you ready to say he's on your team? And Heupel said no. Did you catch that, Matt? Heupel said, I'm not ready to say he's on the team. He basically said, that's to be determined. But here's the thing. Without him getting to camp, without him going before his teammates and apologizing, there was no way to get to this step. Now they've got a starting point. Does he make it? I don't know. Does he go off the reservation again? I don't know. You're in a different era. And then John Adams asked another great question, which is, and did you guys hear when John asked that, how Heupel sighed? Because Heupel's like, yeah, that's the most frustrating thing about it, is that I wanted another toy on offense to play with, and I don't know that he's going to know enough offensively. Did you guys catch that, how Heupel sighed about him playing offense? Did y'all catch that?
Yeah, that's got to be probably the most disappointing out of all this, because that was a guy that, again, can be a difference maker for you and be one of those playmakers on a team that doesn't have a lot, especially proven ones. So it's frustrating that he kind of did this in the summer when it was a really big year for him and he had a chance to take on a really big role as a leader, both in the locker room and on the field for this team. And he obviously just failed to capitalize on that and is barely even on the team at this point.
That's what I'd call it. Yeah, he's like barely on the team. It's like dangling. Because I will tell you this. If that kid so much as says boo, they've got to cut him. They got to cut him loose. So, Brian, any thoughts on what we heard there? I mean, you and I have heard a lot of these down through the years, and that was a pretty eventful press conference today. And Chris Lowe broke the story right before Heupel got up there and spoke. So he got a good leak there. But pretty wild that that occurred. That our head coach, who generally is so close to the vest, basically said, I'm going to lay the cards on the table here and tell you, those of you that were like, this thing ain't a story, this guy didn't disappear. No. This guy disappeared. And this is a story. And this guy's, some of you are saying this guy's on the team. He's not exactly on the team. But go ahead, Brian. Your thoughts on what we heard.
I still want to know exactly if he's going to be going through much in terms of practice. Do they let him do all the drills?
Yep.
Are they going to have him go through all that with the team, everything before and after and everything else? Just what that's going to entail for him. Or will he be made to sort of sit some things out at first?
Well, like Matt said, in a way, I would give him like walk-on reps right now. Or while practice is going on over the next couple days, he's over there running the steps till he throws up. They could do that. Hey, Matt, it's certainly within their purview to do that right now, isn't it? To go old school on him?
I would be surprised if that doesn't happen, that he makes up a lot of the cardio and things that he missed, which he actually really needs, because he's probably not in great shape right now like most of the other players are, which, so it will be interesting to see how they navigate that and if this continues to be a storyline or if it kind of dies down and he kind of just puts his head down and goes to work, which is the best case scenario. I don't know how likely that is, but
do you think they make him?
Go ahead.
Do you think they make him lift extra weights?
I don't know about that. Not any more than what he's probably supposed to do right now. But you can do a bunch of extra running and have to do some of the grunt work in practice that guys on the bottom of the depth chart might have to do. You might have to play on the scout team for a week or two.
See, I agree with that, Matt. I was talking about somebody about the way this thing could look, and they said demote him all the way down, treat him like a walk-on, basically. Now, in the new era, right? There's no such thing as walk-ons going forward, but there are walk-ons. There are still 20 guys at the bottom of that roster that are now going to get scholarships because you've opted in, but they're still walk-ons. They're not going to call them walk-ons because they're going to have scholarships, but they're guys that aren't going to play. And they're guys that are out there to get tackled in practice and to give everybody a look. And hey, you need those people on your team, as people are valuable. They're a part of the deal. But I think that's how you treat this guy. And if he doesn't fly 100% right, you've got to say to him, in a Nico sense, get your coat, your lei, and get on out my way. But other than that, if that was not going on today, guys, that would have been a kind of a nothing press conference, yes? Because they're not going to name Joey Aguilar the starter, even though he is. Somebody asked him a great question, which is there a starting quarterback that you're cheering for to win the job? The answer to that in every camp is absolutely I am. If you don't think that goes on in all these camps, there's a guy they want to win the job. That's why this guy that's making the money he's making, Joey Football, is your starting quarterback. They can say what they want to say. Unless what was the guy's name? Not the kid that played at which Leak was that played at Florida? Chris Leak, right? We had CJ Leak. We had the Leaky Leak. By that point, wasn't CJ Leak? He was all beat up when he came from Wake Forest, right? In that camp, Matt, and couldn't move. And,
He just wasn't very good.
yeah, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, though, and say that he got kind of beat up during his career, and it was sort of at the end of his run. And look, if this guy goes out there and looks like that, he won't be the starting quarterback. But that's the only way he's not winning the job. So it has been an extremely interesting program today. It's been an extremely interesting program today. That's going to about do it for us. Matt, Bry, any final thoughts here on the way out? Because I got to get to the doctor. So,
long live Rhino.
Long live Rhino. How about you, Matt?
We miss you.
Any final thoughts, Matt, on what's been a pretty interesting day here in Rocky Top?
No, hopefully it works out. But I guess we'll see. I think you have to just trust Heupel's, kind of CEO management of the program, and just hope that there's some leadership on the team that can help Boo get back in good graces and be able to be a productive player on the field for your team, because that's ultimately the goal here, is to win games. And I think him being on the team gives you the best chance to do that. So,
well, Matt, a couple callers said it earlier, and it's really a great point. If you had more dynamic players on your roster, there's no way you put up with that. But you don't. Like in Alabama, under Nick Saban, if a guy would have missed a month, Matt, you know what would have happened to him? You wouldn't want to be. There's no way. But, again, he was stacking 5 stars on top of 5 stars, and we have some 4-star guys that are extremely young and a few 5 stars. Saban had 5-star on top of 5-star on top of 5-star on top of 5-star on top of... And look, when you have the first world probs, like they had, you can say to a guy, hey, see you later. I just, in my mind, as I saw this thing unfold, that just wasn't going to happen here. But some will say, well, why did we spend 2 weeks talking about it if this is where we are? The guy is not on the team right now. That's why we spent time talking about it. The guy has to earn his way back onto the team. That's a big story. That's a major story. It's really strange. And I don't remember anything like this.
And he's still going to have to manage it not becoming too big of a distraction in fall camp.
Brian,
since he's got to earn his way back on.
Brian, if he says boo in this camp, I guarantee if he shows up 10 minutes late for a meeting or for a workout.
And I'm talking about Heupel.
No, I'm talking about Boo Carter. They're going to fire him. They're going to say to him, see you later. Peace. But anyway, boys, it was a lot of fun today. I want to thank Laura for working the board today. Hopefully, I am getting good enough at some point where I can sit in a chair or stand long enough to come down and do the show. But in the meantime, I'm up here in a traction band, stretching myself out, trying to provide blood flow to the area of my back that's addled. Those of you that have been there know what I'm talking about. But we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you to TLD Logistics. They're online at tldlogistics.com for your trucking needs. And remember, they also have a tremendous brokerage division. Give them a shot. If you've got an operation that's what you do and you rely on brokerage for shipping, give them an opportunity to serve you at TLD Logistics. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Matt. Tomorrow, Cinco will be here responding. Also, we'll visit with Watson Brown and hopefully Adam Sparks as well, just to get his thoughts on what we just witnessed. In the meantime, appreciate you, love you. G to the B to the O, and boo, boo, boo. Boo, boo, boo. You found TonyBasilio.com.